shredded is very simple. I got shredded in my 40s and I'm not even a pro bodybuilder. I'm gonna explain everything that goes into it. What your nutrition should look like, the best cardio to do, how long it will take, and finally why most body fat measurements are a total hoax. Let's talk about the two tenets of getting chopped: macros and movement. I call them M&M to make it easy to remember. When you hit your macros exactly and you hit your movement goal exactly, over time, you must get chopped. So this is the getting ripped formula. Macros plus movement over time equals chopped. A lot of people are going to make it more complex than this, but the truth is it's really this simple. Perfect macros plus perfect movement over time must get you chopped. Let's talk about macros. I'm assuming you know what macros are, but in case you don't, it stands for macronutrients, which is carbs, fats, and proteins. All food is made out of carbs, fats, and proteins. In order to get a shredded physique, you have to eat the right macros in the right ratios in order to maintain your muscle while burning off the fat. Now, what's important to realize is the you that got you to 15 or 12% body fat is not the same you that's going to get you into single-digit body fat percentages. What that means is you've probably been guessing your food along the way and you've kind of half guessed your way to 12% body fat. But when you want to go from 12% to 8%, no guessing is possible. You have to be meticulous with your macros and hit them exactly. Otherwise, you simply won't reach your goal. So know your macros and hit them exactly and meticulously. I'm not going to go into how to calculate your macros in this video, but I have another video that I'll put up here where you can learn all about that. The thing you need to take away from this section is you can't cheat on your macros, otherwise you'll screw everything up. You need to level up to the next version of you that doesn't cheat and hits his macros exactly and meticulously. You're not going to guess or cheat your way into single-digit body fat percentage. Now let's talk about movement. You should be burning 500 to 850 active calories per day in order to achieve the level of fat loss that you're wanting. So find out what your TDEE is, which is total daily energy expenditure. So let's say, for example, that's 2,000 calories that you burn just to survive. Well, then you're going to be wanting to burn 2,500 or 2,850 calories per day in order to be burning a good amount of fat. So what's the best way to burn active calories? There are basically two ways we use. One is weightlifting or resistance training, aka lifting weights or going to a calisthenics park. And the other one is cardio. For weightlifting or calisthenics, I recommend you go 4 to 6 days a week. If you want more details on that, watch this video. Next, let's talk about cardio. When you imagine getting straight chopped, you imagine that you're going to be doing some crazy intense cardio. But every time I get chopped, I actually do it by weight training plus walking. Yes, I said it, walking. So why is the cardio of choice for many bodybuilders walking over doing intense cardio? Let's list some benefits. Number one, it's a low impact exercise. It doesn't make you susceptible to injuries. Number three, you don't have to recover from walking. When I walk today, I'm not sore tomorrow. When you do these crazy cardio sessions, you open yourself up to injury. You open yourself up to soreness. You open yourself up to extra fatigue. So then the next day, you're too tired to do cardio again because of the crazy session you did yesterday. And so you start skipping days. Intense cardio can release a lot of cortisol. And when you're dieting to get chopped, you already have a limited amount of energy. So doing intense cardio is even harder. So what happens is all these things cascade on top of each other and end up defeating you. What we're looking for is a safe and sustainable and effective method. And I promise you, I'm not lying to you when I said all I did was resistance training plus walking plus hitting my macros perfectly, and I got chopped in my 40s. So what I recommend is around 10,000 steps a day. Bonus if you can do more. All right, now that I've given you the mechanics of how to get chopped, we need to talk about mindset. Getting chopped is actually 95% mindset and only 5% mechanics. That's why most people never successfully reach the goal of getting chopped. they quit prematurely. So it's not an information issue, it's an application issue. It's a mindset issue. So I strongly suggest you listen to the rest of this video, because I promise what I'm about to share with you is not going to be found in all these other Get Chopped YouTube videos that are too focused on mechanics and don't go deep enough on the one leverage point that actually makes all the difference, which is the mindset. This section is called the 5 Horsemen of Getting Chopped. These 5 horsemen stand in the way between your 12% body fat self and your chopped self. In my opinion, this is where the video really starts. So the 5 horsemen are hunger, fatigue, anger, focus, and then the 5th one is a bit separate, so I'll tell you what it is after. So when you're getting chopped, you're going to have a mixture. First, you're going to get hungry, and then you're going to get hangry, and then you can't focus, and then you're going to have fatigue, and you're a full-grown man with a job and family and responsibilities, and you're going to have challenges in your relationships because you're kind of like on edge. You're going to have challenges at work because you have to focus and work long hours, and these challenges are seriously hard, and I dealt with them too as a 40-something-year-old man running his own business and having a full-time relationship. So getting chopped is fucking hard. Yes, it's fucking hard. And what's going to happen? This is why I said it's not how, it's who. It's not how do you get chopped. Is who is the motherfucker you need to become in order to conquer these horsemen and get to that other side and get chopped despite being hungry, hangry, unable to focus, and all this shit. Now, the 5th horseman is also worth mention, which is insecurity. When I got chopped, when I was on my way to start getting chopped, an unexpected thing happened. My friends and family turned on me. Oh, Jad, you look skinny. Oh, Jad, you look sick. Oh, Jad, you don't look good like this. You look better like that. Stop whatever you're doing. So when you get chopped, people are going to start basically telling you you look sick and ugly. And once again, this is to test your character, where you don't seek the external validation and you carry through on the goal that you know is right for you in your heart. We understand what we're doing. They don't understand what we're doing, but we do. So we have to close our ears and eyes to the opinions of those closest to us and forgive them for their ignorance and keep working towards our goal. I'll tell you right now, in my past, 3 or 4 of my cuts were cut short because of people insulting me, and I was so affected by their comments that I actually stopped my cut and stopped short of getting chopped. And I'll tell you, that's a terrible feeling. Now, here's a side note. Yes, when we get chopped, we are all skinnier than we want to be, but don't worry, your body will fill out in like 3 or 4 weeks max, and you're going to look like normal again, all right? So don't worry about that. To conclude this section, there is no way to get chopped without battling against the 5 horsemen. In the next section, I'll show you how to win these battles. In this section, we're going to find our unstoppable why. Now, I know you think you've heard this before, but we're going to talk about a different why. I call it an identity-based why. The way I got chopped in my 40s is I connected to an identity-based why that made me unstoppable regardless of what challenge arose in front of me. So we need to make getting chopped a matter of pride and of identity. So forgive me right now, but we need to get man-to-man, macho, and involve our egos into this. So I'm going to share the inner dialogue I had with myself that finally moved me to be able to conquer such a challenge. Here's a question someone asked me. They said, how tough are you if you can't even control the food you put in your own mouth? You say you're tough, you're a man, you say you're tough. How tough are you? You can't even control the food on your own plate. Now, I can tell you that I have an identity that I'm a powerful motherfucker. And when you step up and you say, hey, you can't even control the food you put in your mouth, and at that time it was true because I was a skinny fat fuck, well, that's where my ego and my pride got hurt, and I got on a mission to prove that person wrong. So now I'm going to extend that same courtesy on to you, and I'm going to ask you, How tough are you if you can't even control the food you put in your own mouth? How tough are you if you can't handle a bit of fatigue or hunger or lack of focus? Is that all it takes to break you? Is a bit of fatigue? Is a bit of criticism from your family and friends? A bit of grumbling in your stomach? Are you really that weak? Now, when I posed those questions to myself, the answer was hell no. And I know that's the same answer you have. And so it's time for us to stop hiding behind these lame ass excuses and this false identity that we're so weak that we crack from simple hunger or fatigue or someone's criticism or because we're having a little extra trouble focusing. And here's another area where I'm going to challenge your ego and your mental toughness. You say you're tough. Are you tough enough to not cheat on your macros? Do you know that 98% of motherfuckers cheat on their motherfucking macros? People are shady, corner-cutting, lazy motherfuckers. When you're accepting this challenge of getting chopped, what you're doing is you're opening yourself up to an opportunity to become the real you. The elevated version of you does not cheat. He is meticulous with his macros. You know what that takes? That takes the highest of high characters. Food is one of the hardest things to control because it is embedded in our lives. We can easily argue that it's easier to kick drugs, smoking, porn, and those kinds of addictions because you can just get them out of your life. But you gotta eat. So the man who can overcome the temptation of food and hit his macros to the gram every motherfucking day for 3 months or 4 months straight, that's the motherfucker. That's the man with character. That's the motherfucking boss. And I know that's the real you. You're the motherfucker. You're the motherfucking boss. And you need to take this challenge of being chopped to prove to yourself and to me that you bring it home. Oh shit, we're not talking about fitness anymore. That's right, because I'm not that superficial and I know you're not that superficial. You don't want to get chopped just to get chopped. You're doing it because you want to test your character. You're doing it because you want to bring out the real you, the elevated you. And that's why I love this exercise of getting chopped, because there is no place for cheating. There is no place for corner cutting. When you see a chopped motherfucker, you know that man is the motherfucking man. You know that man did not cheat. He has integrity. He has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he is one tough motherfucker. Mental toughness, my friend. That's what this conversation is really about. So that's the mindset. You come at it from a place of a sense of pride. Get a little macho. Let your male competitive ego get involved in it. And you become that unstoppable motherfucker. How to lose that last stubborn 10 pounds. Okay, so there's this common myth that the last 10 pounds is the hardest to lose. This is a complete hoax. The same formula I gave you at the beginning is the same formula you use to get absolutely chopped all the way to the end. And no, it is not harder to lose the last 10 or 5 pounds or whatever you're thinking. This is just more hype for people to either sell you something or get you to watch a video. The only way it may be harder is maybe a bit mentally, but for me, I just keep doing the same thing I was doing from the start. Now with that, let me give you some specifics. Number one, we cannot minimize our protein because we're already ingesting 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. We can't go lower than that. In terms of fat, we're ingesting probably around 0.3 grams per pound of body weight, and we don't want to go under that because of the hormones. So really the only thing left to play with are the carbs. If you find that you have plateaued, all you need to do is reduce your carbs by maybe 10 or 20 grams and then see how your body responds. So if you've hit a plateau, keep your protein the same, keep your fats the same, play with the carbs. Now, with that being said, I do cheat on my fats sometimes. For example, maybe on a day, if my minimum fat per day is 50 grams, maybe I'll go 1 or 2 or 3 days at like 25 grams of fat if I really want to push things. It's not the end of the world if you deprive yourself of enough fat for 2 or 3 days. So you can play with that a bit, but don't go too extreme. So don't adopt this limiting belief. It is false. It is not harder to lose the last 10 pounds. And as I said before, watch this video for a more in-depth explanation about macros. So how long is it going to take to get shredded? It depends what body fat percentage you're starting from. It'll take as long as it takes. I want you to have the mindset of embracing the challenge, because when it's hard, you're going to build yourself into the most beautiful version of yourself. So don't want easy. Easy makes a man ugly. Hard makes a man beautiful. So love the challenge, embrace it, and do it for as long as it takes. The less you cheat and fuck up along the way, the faster you'll get the result. I forgot to tell you how to calculate your body fat percentage. The pros, the bodybuilders, don't use body fat testing methods because even the most accurate methods aren't that accurate. What they use are their eyeballs. Now, there is actually a tool that is more accurate than your eyes, and that's a camera. What I discovered when I was getting chopped is that I would look myself in the mirror and I thought, damn, I look chopped. Then I would take a picture or a video of myself and I would realize I wasn't as chopped as I thought. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the camera to look at ourselves objectively. When you can look at a video or a picture of yourself and see yourself as chopped, then you know you're chopped. As I mentioned before, I go a lot into the mechanics in the video here, and you can find that link in the description below. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your struggles, what you thought about the video, and if you have any future video requests. My name is Jad T. Jones. Take care.